Thank you, support team. Okay, hope all of you had a good quick break. Let's continue our chapter on cost management. This is one last concept after which we'll move on to the quiz. Now that you are familiar with the concepts of earned value, planned value, and actual cost, sometimes in the exam you may even get questions like these. You may have a graph shown like this and you have to identify what is the status of this project. So it becomes easier now. So you've got the time on the x-axis and the cumulative cost on the y-axis. And the center curve is the cost baseline curve. So it's like an S curve. So so eventually it's the budget at completion, the cost baseline of the project, that is. And on top of it, when we add the management reserve, then we get the total project budget. And so therefore, at any point in time, it's the planned value of the project. So the point is taken here on this date. And at this point in time, this is the planned value. Therefore, this curve is also known as the planned value curve, which means the value which is going here on the y-axis is the planned value, in monetary terms. And if you see here the earned value, this is the bottom curve, is telling us how much value was delivered in terms of the work completed. So we see that the earned value is less than the planned value, which means the work delivered is less than the plan. Therefore, the project is behind schedule, which means the SPI will be less than 1 or schedule variance will be negative. On the other hand, if you look at the actual cost, this is the actual cost curve on the top. Currently we are here, and the trend, if you project a trend of futuristic trend, then it can come like this, that will exceed the original budget, somewhat like this. So the actual cost on this date is more than the earned value. We shouldn't compare these two, we should compare with this line, the value delivered and the money spent. So there's a significant difference in between these two numbers, which means the project is above budget on this date. So if the project manager is taking good control, then it may eventually come to this point, or if they want, they can even do even below the budget. But going above the budget, as in this case, the dotted line, is a problem. That's why cost management becomes so critical. Among all the metrics in a project, it is said that CPI is the most important metric, cost performance index. So given a chart like this, if you have a question to decipher this chart, then this project is behind schedule and over budget. So learn to interpret these graphs, learn to calculate the earned, calculate the various forecasts like the EAC and the ETC and the TCPI, and you will be in good shape for the exam. With that, we are done with the chapter, and let's practice some questions on cost management. Number 62. Please attempt it. Please attempt. You can keep the answers with yourself, because there's so many offers. I may not be able to see your chats. And but if you want to share it, please do. It's fine. Just that I may not be able to see everybody's answers as I progress. But please do try it. If you find it comfortable sharing the answer with me, please do so. The exam questions test the behavior of the PM. A PM must know how to react, how to prioritize, how to take action. Taking action is more important than just doing something else. Halfway through the executing process of your project, a team member alerts you to a potential cost overrun for a specific deliverable. Potential means a probable. What do you do first? Somebody is alerting you that a cost might overrun. Determine the projected actual cost. Find out how much the overrun will be. Implement a change control process to track the change. Inform the customer. Determine the cost of the overage. In monitoring and control, what we do, we first compare, then we do the analysis, then we forecast. Comparison probably already done. Somebody is alerting us. So the next thing may be to find the reason for the why this could happen. So determine the projected actual cost. This may be too early. We can always do that afterwards, but initially we need to understand what's going on and what is the reason for that before we can project. Implement a change control process. Implementing a change control in executing is too late. We should have done it during planning. We should have worked out how the change control will be done, and we should have followed that for all kinds of changes. And right now there is no change happened. They're only saying that there's a possible change. So tracking the change is not necessary because no change has actually occurred. If the cost has increased, then we may have to take an approval to increase the budget. Or if we need more budget in advance, we can also raise a change request, but that's not decided yet. Inform the customer. Normally, if we do, if the relationship is good, we can still inform, but not be a good idea just to tell the customer we may be delayed. Then, because they will ask, so what are you doing about it? Why do you want to tell me that you are delayed? And why didn't you do something about it and tell me what you did and how you prevented the delay? Therefore, C is not a good option at all, as you can expect. D is the only one. Determine the cause of the overage. Why is it likely to overrun? This seems to be more reasonably correct answer. Then we can go ahead and maybe look at D, A after this. Yeah. And this is again a confusing term. It says projected actual cost. It should be either projected future cost or actual cost. But even if we give a benefit of doubt with this language, we can do this as a next step. So hope that's clear. Let's look at next question. Let me see what's a good question. I'm not doing any of the, let's do a calculation question also. If earned value is 550, actual cost is 600, planned value is 625, what is the cost variance? What is the cost variance? It is the actual cost compared with the earned value. Therefore, we need to compare this value with the earned value. In particularly, it is EV minus AC. EV comes first, then AC comes afterwards. So 550 minus 600. EV minus AC. This one. If the question was what is the CPI, then we would divide 550 by 600. If the question was about CSV, schedule variance, then these two, isn't it? Planned value and earned value, EV minus PV. Or EV divided by PV will give us schedule performance index. So the answer would be D as in delta. Try the next one, 64. You have just completed the initiating process of a small project and are moving into the planning process, when a project stakeholder asks you for the project's budget and cost baseline, what should you tell her? Baseline means an approved budget and an approved cost, and also we have approved scope. That's at the third baseline. It's initiating as completed and just moving into the planning processes. So planning has not been completed yet. And which means baseline will not be ready, isn't it? We are still too early to ask for a baseline. So we need to interpret this first. The project budget can be found in the project charter, which has just been completed. Of course, we can see an estimate in the project charter, but this is not the finalized project budget yet. It has to be detailed. And the question is very specific. Though you might think, yeah, we can find it in the charter. Look at the question. Ask you for the budget and cost baseline. We cannot find the baseline in the charter. So A is incorrect. You need to go back and forth several times to really conclude if that's the right answer or not. The superficial look may not give you the answer. But you see, this is where all your concepts will help you, whatever we are learning. The project budget and baseline will not be finalized and accepted until the planning processes are completed. This seems to be a good statement, isn't it? It's like telling the person, please wait, we are still busy planning, wait for some days, we'll have the baseline ready and then tell you. Might be okay, but let's continue. Number C, project management plan will not contain the project budget and baseline. This is a small project. Please remember this PMP project management plan from the process develop project management plan in project integration management. It has 19 components, out of which 10 are the subsidiary plans like scope management plan, cost management plan, etc. It has 3 baselines. Then it has 6 additional components like change management plan, performance measurement baseline, and so on. Therefore, it will contain the budget and baseline. The C is also incorrect. It is impossible to complete an estimate before the project management plan is created. Estimates are part of the plan, isn't it? The plan is created, meaning we will first set guidelines for planning, then we will estimate, then we will have the baselines, then the complete PMP is done, project management plan. So this is like a false statement, because estimates are part of the plan. Estimates will be completed before the plan is completely finalized or completely created. So therefore, the language is the one where we have to learn to handle the language and then zoom into the B. Definitely is a very clear statement. So you can tell them and come back to the question always before finalizing the answer. What should you tell her? And what the person is asking for the baselines. So B, budget and baseline will not be finalized and accepted until the planning processes are completed. So therefore, sounds good. I hope sounds clear.